finding a way to balance this budget was very, very hard. Michigan's Constitution requires us to have a balanced budget, and we needed to find a way. We did this with a mixture of cuts and a mixture of finding some hidden pots of money that we could use to pay existing bills. And we did it by transferring some of the costs over to the 2008 budget. All in all, we were able to do this without cuts in Medicaid or health care costs, our most vulnerable people.
Right. We were able to prevent the state's most vulnerable citizens from having to endure this. It was a 6% Medicaid cut.
Yes, it was. It originally started with a cut to hospitals, a cut to physicians, a cut to nursing homes, every provider within the framework of health care. And that was prevented. That's particularly important because as these providers are no longer able to be profitable, particularly in central cities, then they move out, not to come back, and our people are left without health care. So we saved that, and we saved also something really important, that is revenue sharing. Revenue sharing dollars from the state help to provide dollars for public safety, for firemen, for policemen, for essential operations for our cities, our townships, for our counties, and for villages. By preventing any cuts at that level, we really were, I'm glad that we were able to do that. That was one of the major reasons that I voted for this bill. There are some things I didn't like about it, that is the shift of things to 2008, but protecting health care and protecting our revenue sharing, those were really important to me.
Another big aspect was education.
Yes.
The school aid fund.
Yes.
It fared relatively well.
Well, I was, that's always been one of my top priorities. I'm glad you mentioned that. And we had no cut in dollars to K-12 education. That was important to me, and I made that known to the leadership from the very beginning that I would not vote for a bill that cut our kids. They're our future, our ability to bring pardon me, our ability to bring jobs back to Michigan, and. I think that our state and the quality of life in it starts with being able to educate children. So we had no cuts there.
And another big area, a fourth area where cuts were avoided, law enforcement. Mm-hmm. There had been a lot of talk about trooper layoffs.
Yeah.
And then thanks to this 07 blueprint that was passed, those layoffs also were avoided.
That was one of the first things that we looked at. Actually, that went back even to the 2006 budget. There's some shortfalls there that we needed to fund to protect troopers. And by the way, the state police folks, they get a lot of personal credit for this. Their union even stepped up and was going to loan the state some money to prevent layoffs in the state police. I think that's almost unheard of.
They really stepped up to the plate.
Yes, they did. Our citizens can be very proud of the people that protect them.
And this 07 budget process is particularly complicated because the clock has been ticking.
Yes,
I mean, we're already in the 07 budget, as you explained. It's from October to October, so it's getting relatively late in the game, and so it was quite a good thing to get the legislation moved through and to move forward on that.
Working on that particular piece of legislation while you're in the middle of the year is not the most desirable way to do this. There are changes during the course of any year in revenues and expenditures, but this degree was not expected. Now that also has some impact on where we're going now, trying to get the 08 budget. Again, 08 means from October of 07 to October of 08. And we need, normally, in a normal year, it's been a long time since Michigan's had one of those, you'd have that done, June or July. This year, it may take considerably longer than that because we have other associated things that we have to work on. One, we had to get this stuff done for the '07 year. Two, we've got to get the replacement for the single business tax. Three, there's some questions about whether we're going to have some revenue increases, some new taxes in the state of Michigan. There's questions about reforms and the linkage of reforms to the possibility of taxes. And many people, I being one of them, haven't decided at all that they're going to be able to vote for new taxes. That all needs to be done so we know how much money we're likely to have so we can construct a real budget for 2008. The majority leader, our leader here in the Senate, has laid out a timetable that included those pieces of the puzzle to work towards a new budget for 2008. And those make a lot of sense. It is the order of completion of things so that the product that we deliver for next year isn't like the one we had this year.
It addresses more of the structural problems,
yes,
the spending problems, yes, that the state has had.
In the budget that I'm responsible for, and looking it over, we've put money away for programs that no longer exist, and we have to comb those out and take the dollars that are there and redirect them. We have to look at whether there's been efficient recovery of tax monies that have been spent by the people, whether we're getting the best prices we can for drugs, whether we're still funding positions where we've eliminated the people for them. This is all part of being able to say to the people of Michigan that their money is being well spent. As we're sitting here taping this today, those reforms have not been done yet.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to address those things. Incredibly, we have gone through our program for this month. I'd like to thank you for laying out your vision for the budget and some of the other items that you have on the legislative agenda. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'd like to thank all of our viewers. This has been the Capitol Report with State Senator Roger Kahn. Thank you for joining us.